No, Bitcoin has not broken into a new high yet, but it is mimicking this very bullish pattern from 2019. And bullish sentiment continues to go up. We're at the most bullish market sentiment in 14 months, despite the fact that Bitcoin is not even half back to its previous high. But this is what happens when we go through a prolonged downtrend over a year, right? Any good movement, any slight recovery, well, brings a lot of positivity back, right? So, but the market sentiment is definitely improving in a big way. And that's terrific. That's terrific. You have a lot of countries that are still adopting and growing their laws, their regulations, their services, right? And today, there's a couple. Australia introduces classification for crypto assets. Hey, maybe the U.S. can follow this, because they actually broke it down into 4, and the 4 actually makes a whole lot of sense. Number 1, crypto asset services, which include lending, borrowing, which doesn't really exist in the U.S. anymore, fiat on-ramp, off-ramp, crypto token trading, funds management, mining, staking as a service, gambling, and custody. So these are all services, important services, okay? Then you have intermediated crypto assets, which are closest to widespread definition of tokens, rights, and licenses in relation to event access or subscription, intellectual property reward program, consumer goods, services, fiat money, non-financial assets, government bond coupons. This includes stablecoins. Yes, fiat money, right? So this is basically stablecoins and anything that you can use to grant rights to something, like tokenizing real estate, for example, or getting access to a subscription. That would be in that category. Then you have network tokens constituting peer-to-peer payment infrastructure. Think of your original Bitcoin. Okay, it could be Bitcoin. It could be, I guess it's just Bitcoin, but you could count other chains that are network tokens, like, for example, Ethereum, right? Used to pay for gas fees. I mean, that makes sense. And then you have smart contracts existing on a spectrum from intermediated to public. Intermediaries use former and providing a service, latter use the party. Okay. Well, I mean, that's a pretty good definition, I guess, to break things down, although I think you could break it down even more. But at least they have something, because Australia is pro-crypto overall. U.S., we don't really have any classification at all. That's why when we're doing our taxes, it's really hard to do. Like, what about airdrops? What about staking rewards, right? What about buying a cup of coffee? What about transfer fees? Can you deduct those? I mean, so there's a lot of stuff that we don't know, right? The IRS is kind of vague because there's just no classification for anything. So there's that. Of course, we have a lot of banks around the world that's still adopting. Here's one from Russia. Plans on launching their DeFi platform in May. Okay, they're going to launch a DeFi platform on top of Ethereum. And we heard JP Morgan trying to do this in Southeast Asia too, right? So now DeFi is expanding beyond what we know, which are liquidity providers and DEXs, bridges, stuff like that within the projects we have been covering, right? But now these big boys are going to come out their own DeFi products, right? So DeFi can expand and evolve into something that we can't even recognize in the future, but it's starting. It's starting, right? And Tim Draper also went to Sri Lanka, trying to get them to embrace Bitcoin. Unfortunately, he was snubbed. They're not a fan. They're more a fan of controlling their currency, according to them, right? But we still have other countries that are more open-minded, that want to break free from the IMF and World Bank and want their own independence. And just like investors, they want a currency that's not controlled by anyone. So it's just a matter of time. The whole world embraces Bitcoin and crypto in a major, major way. Just a matter of time. Now, what about this bullish pattern that Bitcoin is mimicking? Well, I mean, this is almost identical. Like, it can't be more identical than this. And thanks to Stock Money Lizards for pointing this out. You look at you look at a couple things here. You look at when we fell down from 2017 down to the bottom in basically end of 2018, started 2019, and then we recovered, right? So from that period, you could see 478 days before Bitcoin started breaking out from bottom, right? You could see the RSI level at that point, right around 55, around midpoint. And then you look at our current situation now. 478 days from the top. We are definitely recovering from bottom. The RSI has just broken out to same point as before, right? And you look at it too, it's like nearly identical. And this is considering we went through different crashes, different macro factors, right? But still, it's mimicking it almost to the T. Now, in 2019, we recovered up quickly to 70%. Right now, we're about plus 50%, but who knows? It could change really quickly. Another 20% here or there is really nothing, right? So this reminds me what happened in 2019 when we went from 3,000 all the way up to 14,000 in a very short order, right before July, around June timeframe, right? So right now, a lot of people think that we're following the same pattern. And if we do, and there's a lot of other technical indicators that actually support this too, and moving averages that's supporting this bullish case, can we see 40, 50,000 before July, sometime in May or June? It's not out of the realm of possibilities. Let's just put it that way. It could happen. But this kind of shows you how similar we are tracking previous cycles, previous bottoms, previous recoveries, and that's awesome. That is awesome, right? Here's another one. This is kind of hard to see, but you can see this one's just tracking this other stock. Someone found this. What if, right? Our current chart looks like this other stock that you can see in the bottom right-hand corner. And again, it looks almost identical. But that's not tracking anything significant. It's just like, what if, right? And what ifs sometimes happen, especially when we're mimicking previous cycles. This is not a what if. We broke through the realized price. We broke through a 200 weekly moving average. These are very bullish signs for Bitcoin. And I've covered these before, but still. Very significant because look at the two previous times where Bitcoin broke through the realized price. What happened? Tremendous recovery. Both times. It hasn't happened that many times before, right? Both times, very, very bullish recoveries. All right, speaking of recoveries, look at that. Coming right back up, almost back to even, 23.5.